Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and today's shout-out goes to Gary. Gary was first to say first in one of my recent videos, and this one's the shout-out, so congratulations. Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and I have a review of a neat new helicopter for you folks. This is the RC era C128 Sentry. Now, last year, Ishin came out with a similar drone, the E110, Ishin E110, which was a clone of the Norwegian Black Hornet, which is a micro military drone, okay, military helicopter. Now this one here, the following year, this is another clone of another military helicopter, a toy or military nano helicopter. This is a clone of the Chinese Hummingbird. So we have a clone out there already for the Black Hornet, and this is and for 2023, we now have a clone of the Hummingbird. Both of these are clones of military nano drones that are used by various militaries. I think the Marines use the Hummingbird or the Black Hornet. I don't know who uses, well, the Chinese probably use the Hummingbird out there. And the Norwegian Army, of course, uses the Black Hornet since it originated in Norway. But let's talk about these. Again, last year they came out with Ishin came out with the E110. This is the C128. Now they're both made, I'm pretty sure they're both made by the same company, RC Era. Ishin goes out and contracts other companies to make drones and helicopters and toys for them. But the reason I'm saying this is probably the same company is the controller looks exactly the same as the controller for the Ishin E110, along with the app that's used. They use the Sentry app, which is also the same app that's used for the E110. So that's telling me they're both made by the same company and probably are very similar in performance. We'll see when we fly this. So let's talk about this in detail. The weight of this, with a battery included, is only 79 grams. That means this does not require registration in most countries, folks. Here is the battery. Let me show you how to take it out. It clips into place, slides out like so, put it back in like so, and then slide it back like so, puts it into place like that. It does have an on-off switch on the front of that battery that you turn the drone on and off with by pressing and holding this button here. I just turned it on, may turn it back off again. But that's the battery for that. I'll talk a little more on that battery in a bit. Now it's controlled, it's Flybarless control. If you notice here, this is controlled by gyro control. 6G gyro, which means 3-axis stabilization for gyro stabilization, right, left, up, forward, back, left, right, up, down. But it also has acceleration, right, left pitch, forward, back pitch, right, left roll, and yaw. That's the gyro stability part of the stabilization. But it also has accelerometer stabilization that stabilizes the helicopter for forward, back, right, left, and up, down, uncommanded movement, say, from a wind gust. So that's what they mean by 6G. There's 3 gyros and 3 accelerometers that are used to stabilize the drone automatically in flight. Now, it's 4-channel control, which means we got a throttle, or collective as they call it in helicopters. However, this does not have true collective control. Up-down control in this helicopter is controlled by throttling up the motor on this, and it'll increase the speed, and throttling down will decrease the speed of the rotors and bring it down. The same with the control of the tail rotor. It's controlled also by a motor, a little brushed motor in the back here. Speeds up and slows down to control the yaw of this particular helicopter. However, it does have a swashblade in there for control of pitch and roll. You can see the little pitch links there going to the main rotor blades. So this does have some, semi control that you'd see in a normal helicopter, a real helicopter. Now, other things about it, this does have altitude hold control, which it'll automatically maintain its altitude in flight through a barometer, or actually a pressure sensor inside this. But it also has optical flow sensor on the belly. Right there's a little pinhole camera right there that looks directly beneath the helicopter and uses what it sees directly beneath it to help automatically maintain its position. Now, being a little pinhole camera, I don't expect this to work very well indoors, but it should work outdoors in bright sunlight. We'll find out when we try. I'm going to try to fly this indoors first, and then we'll take it outdoors and see how it flies out there. So we'll see how well that optical flow sensor actually works. It is powered by a 3.7 volt, 580 milliamp hour battery. I talked about this battery just a bit ago in the on-off switch for the drone, and the battery is right there. It is charged through a micro USB port right there, USB. So you can use a phone wall charger or your computer to charge this particular battery using the provided cable that comes with it, micro USB cable. Now, the range on this is only 80 meters, so don't go flying too far, folks. But again, this is a tiny little helicopter. You get out to about 80 meters, it's going to be really hard to see. So now it does have locked rotor protection, so if you crash this, the motor is going to shut itself off automatically to protect the brushed motor in there. So it has a sensor for that. That's a good thing. You don't want to burn out that motor. However, you're going to need to restart the helicopter again and reconnect it. If you do get into a crash like that, you just can't just put it back on the ground and take off again. You're going to have to restart it and reset everything. It also has flyaway protection, meaning if you lose signal from the controller, it's not going to continue flying. It's going to start to descend and land is what it does. So it does have that protection on it. Now, one other thing this has is it has a 1080p camera in it, right there. Little 1080p camera. Now, this 1080p camera, what I've seen of it so far, it does appear to be true 1080p. However, the frame rate of it is only 20 frames per second. So you're going to expect to see somewhat jerky, video from this. It ain't going to be photo quality video or professional quality video, and I wouldn't expect that in a $70 helicopter around the $70 range. Okay, $70, $80 range. It's just gonna, for those people out there who want to see what this little drone's seeing while they're flying, you can. Now, unfortunately, you see that using the Wi-Fi app that comes with this, and that's called the I've already mentioned it, the Sentry app. It uses 2.4 gigahertz, so it should work with most drones out there, most apps out there. However, this controller, if you notice this controller, it does not come with a provided phone holder, okay? You're going to have to provide your own phone holder or make up some type of way to hold a phone in there, maybe slide it between here. But the way I did it is I put it in my pocket. I don't really look at it. Or the other thing is you can also fly this drone using the app. And if you need to use that FPV, I would recommend try flying it using the app itself, holding the phone in your hand, trying to fly it. However, I do not like that either because it's not as sensitive as this controller is. This controller is much more sensitive to fly the drone. Now, I mentioned the phone holder. Other thing, cons about this particular drone is it has brushed motors. These motors, the main rotor and the tail rotor, are eventually going to fail someday. But being a helicopter, these motors don't normally see the wear and tear that you see from a drone. Okay, drones really stress out brushed motors because they're spinning at such high speed. These helicopter motors, brushed motors, generally don't normally go at such high speeds and at high power requirements. So, yeah, I would not expect that to be a big problem with this particular helicopter. Again, I mentioned the 1080p camera, not the best frame rate, 20 frames per second. But again, keep in mind, this is a toy helicopter. You're not going to get cinematic quality video from one helicopter in this price range. Okay, let's go over what you get in the box. You get the instruction manual for it. It's in Chinese and English. Reasonably good instruction manual. You get the app instruction manual for it, a real brief overview of what the app can do. You get the helicopter itself. You get 1, 2, or 3 spare batteries, depending on which version you get. By the way, I recommend if you want additional batteries, buy them at the time of purchase. You're going to have a hard time getting these batteries if you already got, if you buy the drone ahead of time and then say, I'm going to buy the batteries next week. It's going to be hard to get these. Get them bundled with the drone before at the time of purchase. You get the micro USB cable for the helicopter, and you get the controller that comes with it. So that's what comes in the package, folks. One thing I forgot to mention about this controller real quick. This can be mode 1 or mode 2. Notice both sticks are centered. Okay, spring centered. To switch to mode 2 control, you hold down this button here while simultaneously turning on the controller, and that will automatically switch it to mode 2. And you can check that by moving this switch up and down if you're or the right side up and down. If you hear the beep, that means it understands that this is the throttle. To switch back to mode 1, simply turn it off, turn it back on again, and move the left throttle up and down, and it switches back to mode 1. So that's how you do switch between mode 1 and mode 2 using this controller. Also, one other thing I forgot to mention, it is powered by four AA batteries, and I'm having a hard time opening it. Trust me, they're in there. 4 AA batteries to control this controller. Okay, let's take it out into the field. Actually, let's take it out in my basement first, and then we'll take it out into the field and see how it flies. So, hope you enjoy these flights. Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here. Welcome to the Quadcopter 101 Indoor Flight Test Facility and Test Drive Facility. By the way, I do have another car that I'm going to be, FPV car that I'm going to be reviewing here in the near future. Keep an eye out for that one. This one, it's a pretty cool car. But anyways, let's get back to the C128 Sentry. Okay, I'm not going to turn on, or I'm not going to connect to the app for the indoor flying, mainly because the app is mainly for viewing the camera, and the camera works best outdoors in bright sunlight, so we'll save it for that. But to start up this drone, you turn it on by holding down this on-off switch on the battery until you see the flashing lights. Then place it on a flat level surface, like so. Then turn on the controller. Actually, let me get on my knees here because I like to get closer to the drone. And to bind it to the helicopter, you got to move the throttle stick up and down like so, and it's now connected. You can see that it's connected. You can see movement on with the pitch and roll. You can see movement of the swash plate and the pitch control links on the helicopter. Okay, so we are ready to go. For takeoff, we'll try the automatic takeoff by pressing the automatic takeoff button like so. And we notice a big drift right away. It wants to drift to the left. Okay, let's see if that optical flow will kick in. Well, there you go. This optical flow is kind of kicking in. It's moving toward my peppers. Let me move away from there. Let's try a little bit of left trim. Okay, a little more left trim, a little forward trim. Okay, and let's see if that holds. I trimmed it up a little bit. Keeps wanting to come back here for some reason. Forward, 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 forward. Trim left, 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 left trim. Let's see if that holds it. Okay, there you go. It seems to have corrected that trim a little bit. Let's go up a bit higher. Keeping it in low rate. And let's go over my little town over here. My little race course. Coming around, turning it toward me, pushing it toward me, and bringing it over up close so you can see it. Now this particular helicopter is not very stable in terms of the optical flow indoors. As you can see here, it's doing quite a bit of wandering. Right now, I'm just going to hold it like this, and let's see it hover a bit. Let's bring it toward me, too. Bringing it over toward me so we can see it hovering. Okay, that's the optical flow, and it is drifting, as you can see there. A bit of a drift. Okay, now it's holding. But again, those pinhole optical flow cameras that you see on this one here, they generally do require quite a bit of light to perform properly. Let's see about maneuverability. Let's see if I can actually fly this around here a bit, going up a little bit higher, going over around the stanchion. Now this one here, I would recommend that you fly slowly indoors, folks, because again, the optical flow, oh, see, it tends to drift right and left a bit with that optical flow sensor. Okay, I'm going a little bit faster this time. Let's go around the stanchion one more time. Trying to go around the stanchion one more time. Turning it in. Take your time with this one. Take your time. Don't go too fast, especially if flying indoors. So that's it. Now I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time flying this indoors here, folks, because again, this particular drone seems to be meant for outdoor flying, in my opinion. It is kind of nimble. I'm flying it right now. Let's see how nimble it is. Can I do figure eights indoors? Well, almost. So yeah, it's kind of nimble. As you get practice, you'll get better at it. I'm looking at the light or the lights on the battery. Right now, I'm already down to 2 bars, but then again, whoa, getting close to there. That might have been me. I don't know if I fully charged this battery. But when I take it outdoors, we'll give it a fully charged battery, make sure it's fully charged. But again, I'm not going to fly this all the way down to battery. I just want to see how it flies indoors and to see if the optical flow worked indoors. I didn't think it would work very well, and it works, but kind of meh. There, let's hold its position now. Just stay doing that. Let's come over toward me and see if it holds its position. Okay, there it is. Hold your position. I ain't flying it. And it's drifting a bit. It's okay. I better tilt my head down so you can see it. There we go. I don't know if you saw that or not because it was kind of close. But there it is. Holding its position with the optical flow. Although it does move around a little bit. So, okay, one more time around the stanchion, we'll call it quits. See if I can do it. Nice and slow. Again, those of you who are beginners, also go nice and slow like I'm doing here. You don't want to be bouncing. Whoa, see, I came close to hitting that. Ooh, it moves fast too. And I'm in low rate. So, okay, let's bring it in for a landing. Where's that land button? Land it right there. So, there it is, spinning down. So that's the C128 indoor flying. The optical flow, again, I didn't expect it to work very well indoors because of the low light and being such a tiny pinhole camera. But I bet you it works better outdoors. Let's take it outdoors and see how it flies. So hope you enjoy the second part of this flight. Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and welcome to the test flight of the Sentry C128. Okay, we are already bound to the controller. The way to do it, you turn this on first by pressing the on-off switch here, and then turning on the transmitter and moving the throttle stick full up and full down. Now we have a breeze of about 5 miles per hour today, right in my face. I'm recording, but again, and also I'm recording the video from this onto my phone. I have my phone set up on the ground nearby, even because this does not have a phone controller. If we have time, I'll try to fly it with the app, and we'll see how it works that way. So, okay, I am in lowest rate. Okay, I am recording. Let's see here. All we need to do to take off then is press the automatic takeoff button. Let's see how that optical flow works outdoors. Well, it's drifting backwards. Let's see if it'll stop itself. Figures it out. There we go. Optical flow in the wind. 5 mile per hour wind. It is kind of holding it, or fighting it. Okay, let's give it some more. Let it fly a bit more in the wind. It drifts quite a bit, don't it? But just quite a bit. Let's go up a bit higher. Give it a little more throttle. Going up. And see if it drifts at that altitude. Okay, we are about 7 feet up. Seems to be holding position a little bit better at 7 feet. Let's go a bit higher. Up to about 8, 9 feet. Still holding position. Okay, so you know the optical flow in this doesn't work that well indoors. Outdoors on a bright sunny day, it seems to work kind of. You know, it's not perfect, but it is holding its position. Let's fly it now. Going it forward, pushing it forward. Let's see what it flies like. Rotating that way. Horizontal rotation that way. Clockwise rotation. Let's plop it there. Going up a bit higher. And seeing if it holds its position at about 10 feet. So, doing okay. Okay, I'm going to second rate now, folks. Let's see how it flies at second rate, at a higher rate. Turning rate is quite a bit faster. Let's bring it in closer so you can see that. Do a clockwise turn. A lot faster for doing funnels. Speed is increased also. Coming around. And let's bring it over here and show you the camera. I'm going back to low rate while I'm doing that. Bring it back over here. And I think I'm in the picture. It's chilly out here, folks. That's why I don't have my trademark tie-dyes on today, but there we are. There's a camera. I think it's pointed at me. I don't have it attached here, but let's go around. There's my wife and dog. Let's go over and see them. Going over to see them a bit. See if it drives my dog crazy. Okay, enough of that. Whoa, I don't know what happened there, but went a little bit wonky there for a second. But going over here and going up a bit higher. Going up higher until we see it drifting. Okay, we're pretty high up there, about 15 feet, maybe 20 feet. It's holding its position up. Well, there we go. We're starting to drift now. Okay, so I'm coming back down. While we're up there, let's do a quick rotate. Coming back down. So, you know, okay, the wind hits it, it bounces around in the wind quite a bit. Again, wind's about 5 to 7 miles per hour, it varies. But it's flyable. Now, again, you know, I said this is probably not a good idea to fly indoors, folks. It is a bit big, well, not too big, but as a beginner pilot, you know, don't depend on that optical flow in this one. The optical flow in this works outdoors, but it's not the stablest that I've seen. I've seen much stabler optical flow than on this particular drone there. I like my jacket today, folks. Now it's working. Hold that position, hold that position. Let's see, hold that position. Okay, well, it's holding the position. Ah, there we go. It's starting to drift a bit. But going forward again. Let's go to the highest rate now and see what it does there. This is third rate. Ooh, turns on a dime. Turns real quick. Bring it over here. Let's do that. Let's show you that yaw rate on this. This is high rate yaw rate. Going the other way. So going back to low rate. Get a little more control on this. Boy, we had some thunderstorms last night, but there's no wind, hardly any wind today, not like it was yesterday. So that's why I'm taking advantage of this flying day. Now let's try it with the app. I'm going to come over here and land it, and we're going to connect it to, well, I'm hesitant to fly it with the app because that optical flow is not the best, but we'll try it. Okay, let me land it, see if I can land it on the pad. Land it. Okay, we're going to switch to flying with the app. Okay, I restarted the drone, rebound, or reconnected to Wi-Fi. We should be good to go. Starting the recording. Down and out on the sticks. And throttling up. Okay, flying with this. With the app. Let me see if I'm in. Oh, there I am. So yeah, I guess you can fly it with the app outdoors. On a low wind day, I would recommend it. But let's sync it up. And say, there we go. We're flying it with my phone and recording with my phone at the same time. Okay, let's try this. This has this feature of being able to draw which way it goes. Let's see if I can draw going forward. We'll do it. Doesn't go very far. Let's do it again. Forward flight. Drawing. Forward flight again. And it doesn't work very well. Let's try to go to higher rate. 60 rate. Forward. Goes a little further. Let's try 100% rate. Pull it back. Flying backwards. So let's come out of that. You can fly it with like simulating waypoint flying, but it's not very good. But let's go forward and yaw. Okay, I come out at 100. Let's go back to 30. You want to fly this in low rate, folks, when you're flying it with this thing, with the app. It can be a little bit overwhelming flying it at high rate with this particular app. Let's go a bit higher too. so I don't hit myself in the head, and go forward. Using the app so that we can see what we're flying, or what we're doing here. Interesting. Flying it around just with the app. And you want to be gentle when you're flying with the app, folks. Because you do not have fine control with this app as you do with the main controller. Okay, coming forward, pushing forward. Wind's picking up, we're gonna have to go to higher rate. Pushing forward, coming, turn to the left, cam forward, forward, on a higher rate, 100. Bring it back over toward me. I'm going back to 30. 30. So there it is. Trying to hold its position. The wind's blowing it, pushing it back a bit, going forward again with using this controller. Now, again, I do not like flying with the app. We're going to call it quits here shortly, folks. In fact, let's bring it over and switch back. The wind's picking up. Can't fight that wind. Here, I'm at 100% right now. I can fight it, but I don't want to land there because it's wet. Okay, we're going to lower the throttle. We'll land it right about there. Okay, that was just a quick demo using the app to fly it, which you can do, as you can see there. I stopped recording of that, and I'm stopping video recording, and we're going to switch back to the controller for the final portion of the flight. So hold on while I do that, folks. Okay, to reconnect it with the controller, all I had to do was turn off the control on the app and turn on the controller, and up, down on the throttle, and we're reconnected. So let's take off, automatic takeoff this time. I'm going to second rate because of the wind. And yeah, that's better. Yeah, flying with an app is not the most sensitive flight control that you can use. With this though, you know, with the main controller, it's very good. You have quite a bit more control. Much more nimble. Much more controllable. Now, you know, the camera on this 1080p camera is not bad. It's not the best either at 20 frames per second, but it is a true 1080p camera. And I'm surprised at that. Usually they slap in a cheap 480p, something cheap inside there. 1080p, 20 frames per second. It's a reasonable camera for a toy drone. You know, I mean, this is 2023. You know, they've been putting 480p cameras and 720p for the past 10 years in these things. It's about time they go to 1080p and not claim it's 4K or 8K. That's even worse. There's other toy drones that claim they're 4K and 8K, and all they do is put an interpolated camera or a 480p camera and use the software, the app, to interpolate the video up to a higher frame rate or higher resolution. This is actually flying nicely now, if you're not too worried about it hovering on its own when using the optical flow. The optical flow on this is not the best. It does work, but it's not the best. Doesn't work indoors, at least. Works outdoors on a bright sunny day like today. There you are. There you are, a little drone, or little military drone clone. So yeah, I guess the U.S. military bought that Norwegian one for the Marines to try out. I guess the Army tried it too, the U.S. Army, but I don't think they liked it. The Chinese version, this is a clone of the Chinese version, I'm pretty sure that this one is very similar. But those military ones, they can actually put thermal cameras on them. These don't have thermal cameras, obviously. In fact, they don't have very good cameras at all on these. This toy drone, it's a toy drone. It's a toy helicopter. So that's what you'd expect. Now, let me fly it around the park a bit. Now, I haven't heard the low beep signal of the, what do you call it? Telemetry of the low battery. So I guess this does fly close to 15 minutes because we've been flying for a while now. Well, we got power. Let's go up a bit higher.
slowly go up a bit higher. What's my dog bark? Oh, she's barking at me. So, come over here and play with me. I don't think so. I'm going to come back over here toward me. Are we getting low on battery? I think we might be. That's it, folks. I don't know about the telemetry warning. We did not get a telemetry warning. We do have a blinking red light, but maybe I had it on the app. We'll find out in post-production because I am doing screen recording of that app. But that is the flight of the C128 Sentry. Interesting little helicopter. So hope you enjoyed this flight. This is Quadcopter 101. Let me hold it up higher so you can probably see it on my hat cam. Quadcopter 101, signing out.
Hi, Quadcopter 101 here again. Hey, if you want to get your own shout out in one of my future videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel. It's real simple. Just go to my channel page and click on that subscribe. And also make sure to click that bell button right next to the subscribe button. That way you get notified when I release a brand new video immediately and give you a chance to get that first shout out. So give it a try, folks.